Good morning, my friends. So, today for our science block, we are going to be experimenting with precipitation. So, we have been learning all about the water cycle. So, let's do a quick review of what we have done so far. So, we learned about the first step in the water cycle, evaporation. And what's that little word that's inside evaporation that gives us a hint of what happens in this phase? Vapor. So, evaporation is when the water from lakes and oceans and rivers and ponds heats up from the sun and turns into vapor and rises up into the atmosphere and goes way, way up into the atmosphere. And when you go way, way up into the atmosphere, the air gets cooler. So when the warm air meets the cooler air, it goes from vapor to a gas stage and forms clouds. So when the clouds form, this is the phase in the cycle called, remember I said, think of the two C's, cloud and condensation. So condensation is when the clouds form. And these clouds form and collect, and they get so heavy with moisture inside that the clouds cannot hold the moisture anymore. And it starts to form as what we are going to look at today, precipitation. So the clouds get so heavy that they just let it go in forms of precipitation to fall back to earth. And the types of precipitation are rain and snow and sleet and hail and mist. So precipitation is when it comes back down into the earth and falls down, okay, and it collects back into the ground or into the water where it came from. So we're going to do a little experiment or project or craft or whatever you want to call it for precipitation. So you're going to need 4 materials if you would like to do this on your own after the video. You are going to need a glass or a bowl or a mason jar or something clear filled with water. Now, I filled it up so there's about an inch, maybe a little more than an inch from the top, okay? That's not filled with anything. So you will need a glass with water. Very important. Shaving cream, the original foaming shaving cream, not the gel. The gel will not work. So we need the white, thick and creamy, foaming shaving cream. And then the last thing, food coloring. Now, would you believe that Michelle has every other color for food coloring except for blue? So I went with the next best thing and I chose green. So I will move my camera so you can see what I am doing, and we are going to do the experiment, and I'll explain everything as I go. So I will move the camera down. Here is my glass with my water, okay? And you want to take the shaving cream and make sure you shake it up really, really good, and you want to do a thin layer of clouds. So the shaving cream is acting as the cloud, and the water is acting as the atmosphere, okay? So we have our atmosphere. We're going to add some clouds to our atmosphere. Ooh. All right, so there's our cloud. So what do you think the food coloring is going to act as? So the food coloring is going to act as precipitation, okay? So I'm going to put a couple of drops scattered about the top of the cloud. And the food coloring is a little bit heavier than the foam, okay? So it's going to act just like precipitation does. It's going to be too heavy for the cloud or the shaving cream to hold. So it is going to start to fall, and you'll see little ribbons of green start to fall and act as precipitation. So I'm just going to do a couple of random drops around. Now, if you look closely, let me move. Do you see the ribbons of precipitation? Isn't that so cool? All right. So I will move the camera back up and I will hold up my glass of water so you can see all that's happening here. Look how cool. Isn't that awesome? So there's where the rain came through the clouds, right? So I want you guys to have fun with it. And if you decide to do it at home, if you have the materials, I would love, love, love if you would post some pictures. So have fun with our precipitation project.